Carlos R. Saunar, Petitioner v. Executive Secretary Eduardo R. Ermita, and Constancia P. de Guzman, Chairperson of Presidential Anti-Graft Commission, respondents. First is the fact about Sonar. Sonar is the former Regional Director of the National Bureau of Investigation, or NBI, and it was joined and become an eventually chief of Anti-Graft Division. During that time, he investigated related to the corruption of tobacco involving Governor, President, and the Senator. In Special Order Number 4003, date August 27, 2004, Sonar was reassigned as a Regional Director for Western Mindanao based in Zamboanga City. On October 29, 2004, the NBI Director Ronaldo Y. Coco issued a Special Order Number 005033 informing Sonar that was relieved to his duties as a Regional Director for Western Mindanao and was ordered to report to the DDROS for further instruction. October 6, 2006, Sonar received an order from the Presidential Anti-Graft Commission, or PAGC, requiring him to answer the allegations against him in a PAGC formal charge date October 3, 2006. And on October 23, 2006, Sonar was reassigned as Regional Director of the Bicol Regional Office on January 29, 2007, and he received a copy of OP decision dismissing him from the service. The OP decision. In January 19, 2007 decision, the OP found Sonar guilty in gross neglect of duty and violating Section 3 of Republic Act number 3019 and dismissed him from the service. The CA ruling, it is a signed October 20, 2008 decision. The CA affirmed that in total of OP decision, the appellate court ruled that Sonar was not deprived of the due process because he was informed of the charge against him and it was given the opportunity to defend himself. On the other hand, the CA agreed that Sonar was guilty of gross neglect of duty as manifest by his being or absence without leave or abol for a long period of time. Wherefore, in a view of the foregoing premises, the petition of review filed in the cases as hereby denied and consequently dismissed by lack of merit. Sonar moved to reconsideration, but it was denied by CA in its asylum February 17, 2009. Hence, this is appeal raising for the following. First is whether the Honorable of the Court erred in ruling the petitioners was not denied due process and that respondents did not tolerate the petitioner's right to security of tenure of guaranteed in the Constitution. Second is whether the Honorable of the Court gravely erred or gravely abused its discretion in upholding the find of respondents that petitioner committed gross of neglect of duty, has abandoned his post and went on the AWOL for the aligned failure of report for work from March 24, 2005 to May 2006.
The court's ruling. Sonar bewails that he was deprived of due process, pointing out that no real hearing was ever conducted considering that the clarificatory conference by the PAGC was a sham. In addition, he asserts that he was not notified of the charges against him because he was only made aware of the allegation after the PAGC had formally charged him. Further, Sonar highlights the delay between the time PAGC received Y. Coco's letter compliant and when he received the formal charges from the PAGC. Section 1, Article 3 of the Constitution of similar with the 5th and 14th Amendment of the American Constitution, in that it guarantees that no one shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. In American jurisprudence, the due process requirement entails the opportunity to be heard at a meaningful time and in a meaningful manner. In Goldberg v. Kelly, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that due process requires the opportunity for welfare recipients to confront the witness against them. In Goldberg v. Kelly, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that due process requires the opportunity for welfare recipients to confront the witnesses against them at a pre-termination hearing before welfare benefits are terminated. Also, the U.S. Supreme Court went on to highlight the importance of confronting the witnesses presented against the claimant. In almost every setting where important decision of fact, due process, an opportunity to confront and cross-examine adverse witness. certain principles have remained relatively immutable in our jurisprudence. One of these is that where governmental action seriously injures an individual, and the reasonableness action depends on fact findings, the evidence used to prove that government's case must be disclosed to the individual so that he has an opportunity to show that it is untrue. In subsequent decisions, the U.S. Supreme Court clarified that a lack of formal hearing in the administrative level does not violate procedural due process. In our jurisdiction, the constitutional guarantee of due process is also not limited to an exact definition. It is flexible in that it depends on the circumstances and varies with the subject matter and the necessities of the situation. In the landmark case of Ang Tibay versus the Court of Industrial Relations, the court eruditely expounded on the concept of due process in administrative proceeding. The fact, however, that the Court of Industrial Relations may be said to be free from the rigidity of certain procedural requirements does not mean that it can. Injusticiable cases coming before it entirely ignored or disregard the fundamental and essential requirements of due process in trials and investigations of an administrative character. From the pronouncement of the court in Ang Tibay, the fluid concept of administrative due process continued to progress. In De Borja and Flores, the court ruled that there was no denial of due process when the Public Service Commission canceled the certificate of Jose De Borja to operate the ice plant without prior notice of hearing because a hearing was conducted after the applicant filed a motion for reconsideration.